And welcome to another episode of Lucas Live. Glad to have you guys here again. We have had a wonderful week this week with women from the She Wins Society. If you have not been watching these episodes this week, what were you doing? I don't understand. Like, what was there? Okay, you had important stuff to do. I understand. There's a lot going on in the world. That's totally fair. You may have been doing something that was making a difference, and I totally respect that. But what I'm going to ask now is that you engage with us here now, whether you're coming in live or whether you're watching this by replay. Stay tuned, okay? You don't want to miss this episode. And I would say if you could go back and watch the replays, which are available to you at Lucas Live Media on Facebook or on my YouTube channel at Lucas Tindell, go check that out and go see the replays so that you can catch up and see all the episodes from when the show began, but especially from this week. So it's been really, really a lot of fun this week having the women from the She Wins Society on. I am a man who believes in supporting women and women in business. I believe that women have been marginalized. I believe that women have not been given the opportunities that they deserve. However, there are women who are breaking through. They're breaking through the glass ceiling. They're breaking into the boardrooms. They're building their own business. If they can't get a seat at the table, they're building their own tables. They are making it happen, and that's what can be said about the women of the She Wins Society. They're not waiting. They're not playing. They're doing their thing. They're getting their education. They're writing their books. They're starting their businesses. They're supporting each other. And if you are not a member of the She Wins Society, I'm going to recommend. Will you take a recommendation? I hope you'll take a recommendation. I hope you trust me because you've been watching the show. I would like to recommend that you become a member of the She Wins Society. What does that mean? We're going to tell you at the end of the show what all that means. But if you've been watching all week, you know that the She Wins Society has been changing the lives of women all over our country. Women have been joining. They didn't even know they were entrepreneurs and they became entrepreneurs. They didn't know they were authors. They became authors. They didn't know what they had in them. I heard a T.D. Jakes sermon one time. He said, "You don't know who you are." And I took it to heart. He said, "You don't know who you are." Somebody out there doesn't know what all they have inside of them, what all God has gifted them to do. And there's a lady out there who just needs to be around a group of women, around some sisters who love them and support them through ups and downs, good and bad, whatever is going on, and helps them become the best that they can be. For those who are joining live, I thank you so much. I see you guys jumping in. If you're joining us live or if you're watching by replay, go ahead and hit the share button. Why not share it? Okay, share the broadcast so that everybody can, see it and tune in and have a great time. All right, and I want to thank you guys who are watching. Somebody just texted me and said that the title on the broadcast is the title from yesterday's broadcast. It's okay. Join us anyway. It's all good. Let me see if I can fix that for those who are watching, but I appreciate it. So make sure you still do share the broadcast so that more can see it. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to try to fix that through our Restream app, and we're going to bring in our guest today. And at the end of the show, we are going to have on the founder of the She Wins Society. She was here on Sunday. She kicked this whole thing off, and she's back. So you don't want to miss it. You want to be here for that as well. You want to make sure that you don't miss out on what she has to share about the She Wins Society and all the great things that they have going on. Tonight is the grand finale of the She Wins Society week here on Lucas Live, but it's not the end, ladies and gentlemen. I promise it is not the end. They will be back. We will have women from the She Wins Society coming back to support Lucas Live and for me to support them and for all of us to support their businesses. So you guys make sure you guys stay tuned and check that out. I am making an update right now live. We'll see what happens. I just hit update so that on all the platforms that is updated. And it says She Wins Society Grand Finale tonight. Hopefully people will tap in and join us. And again, if you could hit the share button, that would be awesome. We'd really appreciate you guys sharing the broadcast and letting other people know that it is time for Lucas Live and it is time for us to enjoy. So also one thing we've been doing on here all week is supporting black businesses. Is it wrong to support black businesses? Does that mean we hate white businesses? I think not. I think it means that we realize that economic empowerment is key to helping change things in our country, right? We all, marching is great. Doing the protests are great. But if we sit back in our houses once the protests are over and we no longer support these businesses and support these business owners and support these authors and musicians and all of these wonderful black people in our country, we're going to end up in the same spot. It's about economics. That's the engine of a capitalist nation which we live in. So we want to support them, whether you're black, white, or any other race. We want you guys to support these great black businesses in a stance to say Black Lives Matter. Okay, so let me show you a little gift that I received here. This is from Miss Charise Grantham. I believe Charise Grantham is on the show here. Hey, Charise. Charise Grantham is a Mary Kay representative. Charise, feel free to type in the comments how people can get a hold of you. She sent me these great scrubs. I think I told you guys about this. Some kind of men's face scrub or something that I'm going to be using one day, and you guys are going to see me shining one day. Y'all going to be like, man, that dude is shiny. Or, something going to happen. I don't know. My beard going to get, fuller. I don't know what's going to happen, okay? But it's going to be amazing because I'm using the great Mary Kay products sent to me by Charise Grantham. So I'm so excited to try these out, and I will let you guys know how those work, or you guys may be letting me know. When you guys are like, where did you get your glow? Where did you get that glow? I'll be like, well, Charise hooked me up with some products, and now I'm glowing. I'm shining too. All right. So it's not just the ladies that are shining. I want to shine too. All right. So I see so many people joining us. Thank you guys so much. For people who saw the update or who saw the name of the broadcast, it looked like the same name as yesterday's broadcast because I didn't push the right button. Stuff happens. You know what I mean? Everything's not perfect. This is a live show. Things go wrong sometime. So it's all good, but we're going to make it work. I want to say hello to some of the people who just jumped in. I appreciate your comments. When you make comments, it lets me know you're in the room. If you don't comment, I don't know if you're watching or not. I still appreciate the fact that you're watching. You don't have to run. Don't go anywhere. Stay here. Stay tuned. Still share it. Still let people know you're watching. Text your friends. Text your family. Say, are you guys watching tonight? It's the grand finale of the She Wins Society week on Lucas Live. These women have been coming. We had credit counseling. We had help with growing our businesses. We had help with all kinds of stuff. I mean, these women were bringing amazing education, motivation, and liberation. And that's what this show is all about. Dedicated to my dear mother, Miss Vivian Tindell, who passed away March 26th. But we know that she is still with us, blessing us and smiling at us while we do this great show. So I thank you guys so much for all the love and support for my mom. And it's because of her that we focus on education, motivation, and liberation. So let me say hello to some of the guests here. Miss JJ Lilly, welcome to the show. So glad to have you. You are so kind. I teased JJ Lilly yesterday because she is always here. I'm telling you, JJ Lilly told all of her family and friends to not mess with her at 7 p.m. Eastern because she's watching Lucas Live no matter what. Okay, so it doesn't matter. It could be a tornado drill. She's in the basement watching Lucas Live. I appreciate it. Okay. I appreciate the love. Charise Grantham, again, thank you so much for being here. Always appreciate you. To my wonderful, beautiful wife, Miss Corine Tindell. She's typed SheWinsSociety.com into the comments on Facebook, just in case you didn't know how to get a hold of these wonderful ladies and how to join this wonderful organization. You can join the She Wins Society at SheWinsSociety.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, I've been shouting out the She Wins Society all week. If I've been doing all this shouting and all this excitement about the She Wins Society all week, and you guys have been getting blessed with all of this knowledge and all of this information and all of this stuff, and nobody has joined the She Wins Society, I'm shutting the whole show down. It's over. This is the last episode. That's all I got to say. This is it. I can't deal with y'all because y'all not supporting the stuff we say we're going to support. Are we going to support people or not? What's going on? Okay. All right, no, I'm not going to shut the show down. But still, I would love for you, please, ladies, and men. Hey, men, you can't join the She Wins Society? But do you want your woman to win? Do you want her to be successful? Do you want her to take her business and her dreams to the next level? Have you been wondering how you can support your wife, your girlfriend, your daughter, your granddaughter? Have you been wondering what you could do to help them out? Maybe you can't pay for them to go to college. Maybe you can't afford the whole wedding, but you can help her have a membership to the She Wins Society, which could change her life. All right, I'm going to clip that out. We're going to make that a whole commercial. Okay, so thank you guys. I'm just saying, you guys got to support it, all right, because the ladies are doing their thing in the She Wins Society. So shout out to them. Shout out to my cousin, Christina Sanders. Thank you so much for being here via Periscope. She's here on Periscope. There's people on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. To our LinkedIn viewers, I appreciate it. LinkedIn always seems so buttoned up. It's very business, right? And I love LinkedIn, and I do a lot of business with LinkedIn. But this show, we laugh, we cry, we have fun, we go through the ups, the downs. We have real talk here. So the fact that so many people on LinkedIn are tapping in and watching it live or watching the replays, I'm just honored. I love it. It's exciting. Please join us live. If you're watching this by replay someday, just say, hey, I want to check them out live sometime. And you guys stay tuned, because soon, starting next Monday, we're going to start with the Lucas Live morning show. So we're actually going to have our first morning show. It's not going to be every day, but this coming Monday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, we're going to have our first guest on the Lucas Live morning show. When do I sleep? I don't know. I don't think I need sleep. I don't know what's going on. All right, Darlene, man, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for saying it. She said it's great what we're doing for Black lives. Absolutely. If Black lives matter, those Black families matter, these Black women matter, these Black businesses matter. If Black lives matter, there's so many layers to what that means. And if they matter, what are we going to do about the fact that they matter? Are we just going to say they matter? Or are we going to invest in these businesses? Are we going to join the She Wins Society? Are we going to learn from these ladies who have been on all week and support their businesses, okay? Are we going to support Miss Charise Grantham as a Mary Kay consultant and purchase from her? Here's her information. It's on the screen right there, marykay.com/Crane, Crayne. Check that out if you want to purchase something from Charise Grantham, a good friend of mine. She's a huge supporter. Also, shout out, both went to the same college. We were both in the same master's program together. Charise, do you remember that? In the same master's program. Do you remember finishing? I finished too, but I didn't finish with a degree. I just decided I was finished. So you remember that? You don't, maybe not. I don't know. But I was like, I'm finished. I just finished earlier than you. And then they didn't send me a degree just because I didn't take all the courses. What? Just nonsense. Okay, whatever. We're going to keep it moving. Thank you so much, Kimmy. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Morgan, thank you for being here. Glad to have you here. Everybody, to our guests, to everybody watching, share this broadcast so somebody else can see it in your news feed, and they'll tap in and become a part of it. Angie Big Rig, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for saying that. I love it. Angie, I think your mom reached out to me. I got to reach back out to her. She knew my mom, and that's such a blessing, and she shared such kind words. I think I responded. I get so many messages. I get lost sometime, but it was so good to hear from her, and you know, we go way back. So, Angie, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. So to everybody who's on, I just want to thank you guys again. I know there's more people. I can't say hello to everybody, or we'll never get to the show, and it'll be on for 6 hours, and y'all will be tired. But we're not going to do that to y'all, I promise. So without further delay, we're going to bring in our first guest. Her name is Linda. She's a certified life coach and a humanitarian. I think this is super cool. And I didn't tell her this, but my long-term goal is to be a philanthropist. I want to spend my life giving my time and treasure away. My time, talent, and treasure away. Yes, that includes my money. And God is gonna bless me with more so I can do more with it. And that's my goal. And I always tell people, when I met my wife, I told her that. And when she didn't run, I knew she was the one. It was as simple as that. When she said, I'm down, I said, let's make it happen. So Linda is already a humanitarian. She's doing some amazing things for women around the world. So I want to bring her in and welcome her to the show. Welcome to the show, everybody. Show some love for Miss Linda Raheem. Did I say your last name right? Linda, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It's been such a pleasure hearing your story and hearing about what you're doing for the world. Ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about making a difference and making an impact, you have to listen to what this lady has done. She has done and is doing things that sometimes I think we only read about, we only hear about, that people are doing missions and changing lives around the world. But she is currently actively doing that right now in her profession, and just also for herself as something that she does. Linda, if you could start, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your humanitarian journey. I was so impressed with it. I think our audience should hear about it.
Hi, Lucas. Again, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely.
So the work that I do for the community, I do it under the umbrella of our women's organization, and it's called Women in Leadership, Development, and Empowerment. And we go about wild, wild with a D.
Okay.
We are women, okay?
Wild women.
Yeah. And WILD is simply a professional women's organization that we come together, different lifestyles, different professions, different ethnicities, and we consume our talents within our network, and then also use those talents to better communities. We use them to better lives of other women, underserved communities, and then the youth. And this came about really I did pageants in my young days.
Okay.
And I remember, being in the pageant industry, my idea of getting into pageants was, you know what, go join a sorority of pretty women, intelligent women. We will support each other. Somebody will win. Guess what? That was not the case.
Wow.
It was a bunch of backstabbing women.
Uh-oh.
Everybody trying to win.
What?
And nobody really, there was no sisterhood.
Okay.
Okay. No sisterhood at all. And I said, we are better than this. We are smart women, intelligent, educated, beautiful. We can be all this and also be supported. So I wanted to create an umbrella where on days that I feel like I'm not at my best, I can still, have grace within me. And on days that I am thriving, I can still do it with humility in such a way that I can pull my sister out. So that's how the organization came about. And we started back in 2011, and it was first, a women's leadership organization. And as we expanded to our humanitarian cause and other things, we just started expanding the platform. So right now, some of the things we do are humanitarian missions. So we partner with medical professionals from all over the world and do medical missions in underserved communities, and especially in Africa. And we've also done missions here, and our missions can be as small as just feeding the homeless. We've fed a lot of homeless people on the bridges in Atlanta, to a full-blown medical mission where we actually come and put up temporary facing facilities and do even surgical procedures to health education and stuff like that. Here in the U.S., a lot of things we do is our women's workshop and conferences. One of our conferences I really like to share is our Women's Wellness and Business Conference. It takes place once a month, once a year during the month of March, because March is Women's History Month. So what better month to have the conference?
Absolutely.
And my sis Andromeda, she's actually been our past keynote speaker.
Andromeda is busy. Andromeda, here we go again. All right, it's time for the conspiracy theory. Hold on, I want you to hold that thought for just a second. Andromeda, what's up? I mean, what? I mean, you got to, hopefully tonight, Andromeda, ladies and gentlemen, you got to stay tuned, because Andromeda is going to be on at the end of the show tonight and close it down for us. I'm hoping she tells us about her twin sister. I just want her to be honest with us. You know what I'm saying? Or she's triplets, or something's going on. I need somebody to look into this for me, okay? Because somehow Andromeda's everywhere. She's everybody's keynote speaker. She's everybody's sister. She's everybody's best friend. She was here at my house. She was here at my house, and she was probably at somebody else's house that same week. All right, I think she was. All right, it's just unreal. Okay, so that is amazing how much of an impact that she's making. And back to and one quick thing you talked about the homeless in Atlanta. And I remember going to Atlanta, and there were like tents set up and just homeless people. And I was like, you don't see that on TV. You don't when you're looking at it from the outside in, you're just like, oh, it's the ATL, it's the A, it's this great chocolate city and everything is good. And like so many big cities around this country, there are huge problems with homelessness and a lot of terrible things going on. So I just wanted to shout out that it's awesome that you aren't just looking at those things, as many of us, and saying, wow, what a shame. You're engaging in change. So,
well, thank you. And homelessness is everywhere.
Right.
I live in Delaware right now, and I did not know we had a huge homeless community in Delaware until I did a book signing at the Dover Library. And we had people coming in just to get water or to shower in the bathroom and stuff like that. So there is homelessness everywhere, and it's a huge problem, But, as I was sharing about our conference, our Women's Wellness and Business Conference takes place once a year. And I said wellness and business because it is so important that as women, we take care of our well-being.
Yes.
For so long, we go about talking about we are boss women, boss babe, CEOs and stuff like that. Kate Spade died with $400 million in her bank account. She still committed suicide.
Wow.
$400 million. So it is so important that we take care of our mental wellness.
Who is that you said? Who died with $400 million in their bank account?
Yeah, Kate Spade, the fashion designer.
Yes. Wow, I never heard that. I knew she committed suicide. I never heard that correlation. That is huge, ladies and gentlemen. Talking about these women who are having these high levels of success all the women on that were on here this week, and many of you out there. So Linda wants to help with wholeness and overall health. So again, help them understand what you're talking about and how you try to put it all together to really help them.
Yeah, so when we started, we wanted to teach women how to do businesses. Because for me, my word in life is fulfillment. Whatever your definition of fulfillment is, that's what I want to help you attain. To some people, it's money. To some people, it's flexibility to travel or, flexibility to spend or do what they want to do. So I believe every flexibility is different for everybody, but everybody desires fulfillment in life. Whatever it is, whether it's money, whether it's, time, everybody desires fulfillment. For us to attain fulfillment, we have to be whole. We have to be mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally whole. And then, we can come and talk about how to be this boss women. Not saying if you are not whole, you cannot make money. You cannot perform at your full potential.
Right.
And our goal is to make sure that you're maximizing your potential across all levels, whether it's in the boardroom or in your home as a wife, as a sister, as a friend. We want women to be maximizing their capital, in all levels. So the conference now evolved from just a business conference to a wellness and business conference, and it's divided into two folds. The first fold, we talk, of course, about wellness. Because if we can get you whole, then we can then teach you the tools and strategies to make those businesses and run those boardrooms.
Yes.
Because don't get me, money is important, but money is not the most important aspect of life. A lot of times we spend time chasing money. When you have a narrow vision that all you're looking at is money, you miss a lot of opportunities along the way to build relationships and actually make more money.
Yes.
So we cannot focus on making money. We focus on the impact. We focus on fulfillment. We focus on those things where your passion aligns with your skill set. Those are things where we focus about. And then money is a byproduct of those things. Ooh. But it is not the most important thing. So this is what the conference is about.
I love it. Hold on just a second, Linda. Let's pause and let's take that in for a second. Money is not the most important thing. Sometimes people say stuff and it's like you're telling people off to be saying something like that, to say something so bold as to tell in a capitalist nation where so many people are raised to think about making more money. And then women who have a level of success, it's like you can do it and you can be in this, you can have all the things that men have had and all the opportunities, and it's all true. But a lot of times the measure of it is money. It's similar to people who want to be healthy. And the main way they measure themselves is on the scale, but they don't pay attention to the fact that maybe they're building muscle and they're maybe not losing as many pounds, but they're losing inches and they're looking better in their clothes, but they can't get over that mental block that says the scale is everything. And so likewise, we use money and the money in our accounts and the money in our 401ks and the money in our investments as the measure of success far too often. And your point is money is a byproduct of you doing the things that you're purposed to do and doing things that are meaningful and doing things that really make you a boss, and the money will come second. Is that what you're telling us? Because you're telling us off, but say it anyway. Is that what you're telling us?
No, absolutely. And not just passion, but things that we are skilled in.
Yes.
I believe when you find that intersection where passion and skill set align, then you have within you to make money without really focusing on money. By living in fulfillment, you are making money as a byproduct.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So let's talk a little bit about some of the other things that you've been working on. And you're also an author, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So my book is called Memoirs of a Working Mother, Fighting for Balance, Managing Expectations, and Channeling Love. And this book came to me. I've always wanted to write a book, but if you've probably not gotten it from now, I wanted to write a book about business. I believe that as women, part of being flexible is having alternate sources of income. So I wanted to teach women how to go out there and make money different ways so you're not relying on one source. But I became pregnant and things changed. I went through a very complicated pregnancy. At 24 weeks, so this is 4 months of being pregnant, I was put on bed rest. I suffered a very severe case of uterine fibroids. 40% of women of color over the age of 30 suffer from uterine fibroids. The difference is not everybody is symptomatic. So I was one of the cases that was very symptomatic. And so with that, I was put on bed rest because it was my first pregnancy. I was over the age of 30. We wanted to be cautious.
Yes.
And I almost lost my mind because I am the up and go person. I have never really been in a place where I'm on bed rest. Like Linda Ray and bed rest don't go together.
It just doesn't match up.
It doesn't. So I felt myself getting to almost a place of depression because this is not my lifestyle. But physically, I wasn't physically capable to do the things that I always did. I took a work laptop home and I was working from home. I remember my boss coming in and taking that laptop from me and said, "You need to be resting." I still had my own fitness store, so I was running that. I could still call the phone and coach people over the phone from my bed rest chair. But in that moment, though, I really thought about, what about the mom that is 24 weeks pregnant, put on bed rest, and doesn't have a source of income because she had only one source of income?
Wow.
I think I had other ways of money coming in. I was gainfully employed. I haven't shared before, but I am a captain of the United States Air Force. I'm the chief financial officer at a hospital, Air Force hospital. So I had money coming in from my job, which I'm very grateful for, a job that I love. I had money coming in from my online business. I had money coming in from my coaching business. So what about the woman that is 24 weeks on bed rest and have a source of income?
Yes.
That is something we don't think about.
That's high risk, right? I mean, so a high risk pregnancy could put you on bed rest because of the risk to you and your child. But there's also a high risk of you losing everything you had, your home, your cars, everything, right? And they don't talk about that enough. I love that you called that out because it's like the doctor's like, well, sorry, lady, you're on bed rest. And there's a lot of women out there who are like, but what am I going to do? And I love what you're saying here because there's somebody out there who is planning to get pregnant. There's somebody out there who's still of age and may be pregnant at some point. And you're not thinking about what if something like that happens. So you try to teach them to have multiple streams or multiple sources of income and revenue so that they have the empowerment and the comfort that, heaven forbid, something like that happens, they'd be okay.
Yes, and that's just one aspect of the book. The book goes deeper than that. It talks about loving the woman in the mirror after childbirth. I can tell you a number of stories that I hear of women not loving their body. I've gone through 2 C-sections and also had a very major surgery after my second C-section just last year, and I see women not loving that body. Like, you just brought life to this world.
Yes.
There is no magical thing that a human body can do than birthing life.
Yes.
So that is something to be looking at your body and be so proud of. So we also talk about ways to get back to loving the woman that you are, not the woman that you wear, because you will never be the woman that you wear. You gave life. Your body went through a transformation. How can you accept this new body and love her even more because of this new creation?
I love it.
Talk about overall self-care, talk about work-life balance.
Right.
I don't believe, there is such a thing as work-life balance. Stories will tell you that it doesn't exist. It does exist.
Right.
But it's about the mindset when you think about work-life balance. It is not a state of equilibrium. It is not a state of constancy. So when we talk about life balance, it's embracing those capabilities to be able to bounce back when things don't go as planned.
Yes.
But it's good to have those plans in place in order to create parameters and balance in your life. So it's about how the way you understand it. So I say in life, we get very frustrated because we set unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
Expectations of situations and expectations of people. So when you're able to establish, effective work-life balance parameters and strategies and able to bounce back without feeling like you're a failure, but that things happen, especially when you're a mother. Like my kids run my schedule. You can hear them because they really do. Like
Right.
seriously.
Uh-huh.
And so it's my book talks about, having the right mindset, because the right mindset really goes a long way and can really change a lot of things in your life, you
Right.
know.
I love
And
it.
so work-life balance also comes about how you spend your day.
That's
I
so
believe,
good.
yes, as women or people in general, we need to control our distractions.
Yes.
A lot of people right now, distraction is social media, Facebook. If you know that's your biggest distraction, you control when to deal with that distraction.
Mm.
Don't go to bed with your phone on the bedside, because that's
Whew.
a wake up when you wake up in the morning. Instead of using the first hour of your day productively,
Yes.
you're on social media. Or instead of going to bed 8 hours, you're spending your last hour of your day, instead of meditating and you know planning for the next day, you're spending that on your phone. So control your distractions. If you're somebody that's spending countless of useless hours on social media, you have to take charge and control your distractions. Schedule your social media time.
Yes.
You stuff like you. And for me, I divide my 24 hours. A lot of people do this. I encourage people to do it because I believe we use the wrong term. When you ask people, why haven't you worked on that business plan? Why haven't you worked on this thing you've been telling me about so many times? Even in COVID, with most people quarantining and at home, people still tell you, well, I don't
I don't have
have
enough
time.
time. Right.
You will never have time,
Right.
because guess what? You cannot make, destroy, nor create time. Time is like
Mm.
kinetic.
Woo.
When you wake up every day, you have 24 hours. There
Yes.
is no day you will have
Everybody has
20.
the same amount of time.
Exactly.
Yep.
So instead of trying to manage time, start managing the task on your schedule. You
Mm.
cannot manage time. Nobody can. We can manage our task on our 24 hours. So I really teach women how to maximize their 24 hours by allocating the things that matter and practice effective time management skills. So
Linda.
those are some of the things that are in the book that I say every woman needs to pick one up.
Now, Linda, women are already on in the comments saying they need the book. So before we go any further, and I just want to talk to you about one or two more things before we bring on our next guest. How can people get the book? People are already saying they got to have the book. They need the book. You told them off, and they still want your book. I don't know what kind of audience we have, but I love them because even when you say something that cuts deep and is true to them, and I love. Let me just say this as a man. As a man, I think, and it's unfortunate because I think women are more judgmental of their bodies than men are. That's my opinion. That's for me and the guys that I know. Most guys I know are not like, oh no, stretch marks, run. They be like, whatever, right? They don't care that much. Or woman's like, oh, I got a little stomach. Oh, I had a baby. I had. Dudes be like, everybody got a stomach. The dudes be having two stomachs, and the girl can't have half a stomach, and she feel terrible. Where that come from? How does that dude be on the beach just out there getting it, stomach just all over the place, right? A girl is out there covering all up, scared because it's just a sad societal thing that we have here. So I'd say even as a man to the women out there, you got to love yourself. You got to love your body. You got to be okay. Especially you giving birth, like you said, Linda, you've given birth. You've done something so amazing. You've done something no man can do. And if a man can't look at you and love you in spite of the fact that you have some stretch marks or you don't look like you looked when you were 20 years old or whatever it was that you had this whatever body, it's madness. Okay. And if he can't accept that, that's too bad. Do we all want to be healthy, and should we all work on our health and physical, mental, emotional, spiritual? Certainly. I mean, that's all good. And I think you're an advocate for that. And you said you teach women all of those things. But to walk around carrying that stigma and carrying that the weight you're carrying is not in your stomach, it's in your head. You have weight on your shoulders and weight in your head that you're carrying because you assume that no man would love you or you're not good enough. And if you're with a man who keeps telling you you're not good enough or that you don't look good because you had a baby, especially if it's his baby, homeboy need to go. He need to get out the way. Okay. Anyway, so I love it. So let's tell everybody how they can get a hold. How can they get their hands on your book?
So if you go to my website, everything that I do is under there. It's myname.com, lindaarray.com. So I make it easy for you.
All right.
Just go on the web, has different all my platforms, even my philanthropic work is on the website. Just go on there. It will take you to my book, and it will take you to the work that we do on the wild, and it will take you to my consulting firm, my nonprofit services. Just go on my website, and I would like to work with you.
Awesome. LindaArray.com. LindaArrey.com. LindaArray.com. Check it out. You can find out everything she has going on. You can get her book, write it down, take a picture, take a note. Somebody type it in the comments wherever you're at. LindaArray.com, so that you guys can get your hands on this. And somebody out there said they need this book. Don't wait. Don't wait till I'm going to buy it tomorrow. I'm going to buy it next week. I'm going to buy it 6 weeks from now when I get paid 3 times from. You don't need an easy pay plan. Get the book. All right. If you said you're going to get the book because you're going to do 2 things, you're going to invest in a black business and you're going to invest in yourself. Again, this investment, as well as everybody who I know is joining the She Wins Society. If you're out there and you haven't joined the She Wins Society and you're a female right now, SheWinsSociety.com. As soon as the show is over, don't go just yet. But if you're watching this by replay, I'll excuse you for a second because I know you'll come back. Go ahead, tap out, go to SheWinsSociety.com and join and then come back. Okay, and then come back and keep watching. But if you're watching live, don't go anywhere. Stay right here. But when the show is over, we expect you all to go to SheWinsSociety.com and look at the different levels of membership. Choose one that fits you. Choose one that's right for you. And become a part of this sisterhood. It's so important that everybody becomes a part of something because these types of organizations are changing lives. Now, Linda, one more thing I want to ask before you go. We just have about 2 more minutes. You shared with me that you have a wonderful man by your side. You have a wonderful man that has your back, okay? And so often we always talk about men, especially in our country, about, men are always in the front. Men are always in the front. You said your husband does things in the background that nobody could even imagine. So it sounds like he has your back, and you walk out front and do your thing, and then maybe he walks out front sometime and does his thing. Can you tell us a little bit? Let's shout out the man. We celebrating women here, but can you tell us a little bit about your wonderful husband and how that has helped you, or how he has helped you? Yes,
I really believe, and this is something I share in my book as well. I really believe in holy matrimony. There is no. I'm so convinced that our union was God. Like God really put his hand on this, because he supports me. When I talk about a union, a partnership, this is really a partnership. A lot of people, he's the one that does all the back end. He's the one that takes care of the kids on days that prior to COVID, I was gone every weekend. I'm speaking every weekend. I have a speaking engagement or an event. And it takes a husband to say, you know what, babe, go shine. He lets me shine. He lets me soar like the eagle that I am. Awesome. And I can come home and be this great husband, this great wife for him, because he believes that he needs me at my 100, not at 50%. So he lets me be 100 so I can be this whole wife for him. So by taking care of me, he's in turn taking care of our family. I really appreciate that. Yes, he supports me as an airman. He supports me as a business owner. He supports me as a wife.
I love it.
There is nothing. I haven't come to my husband and say, babe, I want to do this. That he has not supported emotionally. He has not supported financially.
Yes.
And that he is not my biggest cheerleader. Ooh. So he's
setting the bar high.
He's literally holding the girls so they don't run downstairs. So
he is literally holding on to the kids so the kids don't run loose and just come all on the show. Yeah. All right.
He's like, no, mommy's busy. So that's what he's doing right now. I can hear them.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
amazing.
But I am thankful that God allowed this to happen. And you know what? I tell people, when they talk, people say, oh, you know what? Oh, don't settle. It's not about settling based on I talk about money or material things. Don't settle until you find the man you cannot live without.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are watching this. Don't miss that point. Don't settle until you find the man or woman, if you're a man, that you can't live without Linda. You have been amazing. I thank you so much for your time. I thank you so much for your talent. I thank you so much for your heart. I thank you so much for the difference you're making. I hope that people check you out on your website. I know people said they're buying the books. You let me know. If nobody buys your book, you call me and be like, they was lying, because I'm going to call them out. I'm gonna go back through the comments and be like, you had said you was going to buy Linda's book and she didn't have no purchases. You don't be lying on my show. All right, so I'm so glad you were here, and I'm so glad that people were blessed by what you said. They're still making comments. They're showing love. They're giving hearts. They're giving claps. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Please hang on. Stay with us here. Love to bring you back on here at the end so that we can talk a little She Wins before we close. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have another wonderful guest coming right now. She is clinical psychologist. All right. So she ain't playing. She's a practicing clinical psychologist. She ain't just a clinical psychologist like, yeah, I went to school, I did the thing, and now I don't really be bothered with people. You know, sometimes people get their degree and they get their education and they pass all their tests and they be like, you know what, I really don't like people that much. You know, I really don't want to be bothered. But she's still being bothered. She's still working with people and she's still working to change lives. I want to welcome to the show Miss Robin Gobin. Welcome to the show. We are so glad to have you. I think I have your mic muted. If you could hit unmute on your side, I think that would unmute it. I don't know why I did that, but we're going to get it straight. All right, there you go. Welcome to the show, Robin. How are you?
Thank you. I am well. Thank you so much for having me.
So glad to have you here today. You are another She Wins Society sister. So before
Absolutely.
You get started, why don't you just tell, because somebody's watching right now, and somebody needs to hit the share button right now. You joined us a little bit later, and you didn't get a chance to hit the share button earlier. Well, now is the little break in the show, so now's a great time. People will come in. They won't be like, well, I missed the first half. I don't know what happened. They won't even know. They'll just think, wow, I just got in at the right moment, because you welcomed them in at the right moment, and you have great content on your page, LinkedIn, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, wherever you're at. Share the broadcast. It welcomes more people in the room. Facebook family, don't do a watch party, though, unless you're doing it by replay. If you do a watch party, you pull everybody into a separate room, and then they don't get to party with us. Okay? We want them to party with us. So just hit that share to page, and welcome people into the room. So, Robin, can you tell us, how did you get involved in the She Wins Society? And please don't tell me Andromeda's at your house right now, because we can't take it, because I don't know what to say. You know, she was here. My wife was holding an event. She stayed here with us, and then she was at somebody else's house. I don't know. But tell us how you got into the She Wins Society.
Yeah, I think it was, I saw a Facebook post. I think that's how I came across She Wins Society. And the thing that really just attracted me to the organization was the level of sisterhood. I know that I went to an all-female college. I've, been around women all my life, and there have been a variety of different experiences where women are not as supportive. It's very cutthroat. Everybody's competing with each other. Everybody's comparing themselves. And one thing that really stood out about She Wins is that they were really about lifting each other up, and this idea that if one person wins, we all win. And so it was just such a new, novel experience, and just such an empowering experience that I was like, okay, this is something I want to be a part of. And then all of the rich content that is provided on a daily basis, and then the events and the speaking opportunities and engagement is just amazing.
Well, listen,
the sense of sisterhood is really what keeps me coming back.
Robin, you were talking about the She Wins Society like a good dessert. You were like, you was like closing your eyes and close like, and then but then the pudding was like, and then that pie was, it was just so good. It's a She Wins Society. It's special. It taste and see that the Lord is good. I believe the Bible says, taste and see the She Wins Society is good. It's good sisterhood. It's something special. You went to an all-female college, so you know what it's like, the good and the bad and the ugly and the ups and downs that can be when women try to come together. But somehow the She Wins Society has remained pure and true and been making a difference in so many lives. So shout out to the She Wins Society. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not a member of the She Wins Society, I don't know what you're doing. I keep saying gentlemen because that sounds right. But gentlemen, no, you can't be a member. But to the ladies out there, go to SheWinsSociety.com immediately following this broadcast and join the She Wins Society. What are you waiting on? If you want to invest in yourself, and many of these women have had and would have had a level of success on their own, but all of them talk about the impact that the She Wins Society has had on them. It has been life-changing. And if you need a new best friend, Andromeda will be your best friend because she's everybody's best friend. So just call Andromeda. She's everybody's best friend. She don't do nothing but sit on the phone talking to everybody at the same time, her and her twin. So it's all good. Shout out to the She Wins Society. So, Robin, tell us a little more about what you do. As a clinical psychologist, there's a lot going on with mental health. There's a lot going on in society right now. If you could, tell us what you think the impact is right now of what we're watching on TV constantly and what we're seeing in the news. Can you just tell us from a clinical psychologist perspective what's happening right now?
Yeah, just plain and simply, we're all being exposed to trauma, right? Like watching that video of George Floyd, like dying before our eyes, like it's just, it's really traumatic, and it's been triggering for a lot of people who have maybe had their own run-ins with the police. We know that in the Black community, particularly Black men, are often not safe when they are engaging with the police force, and so some people are having flashbacks, being re-triggered by their own one-on-one kind of experiences that they've had, negative experiences, and also a lot of mothers are out there, Black mothers who have lost sons and children too soon that are being triggered by this. And then people who didn't even know or haven't even been impacted, just watching it, you haven't had your own personal experience, but just watching it has a huge impact on our mental health. And I think a huge piece of it is it causing to question our safety. Like, am I safe just driving? Am I safe just walking? Can I have an equal experience even being arrested? Like, can I be treated justly, right? Like, and so I think that's the huge piece, is like, where am I safe? And that's on top of this coronavirus, which everybody was already feeling vulnerable and scared about that, because this is something that's in the air. We can't see it. And then to have this racial pandemic on top of it is just a lot. So there's a lot of stress, a lot of triggering going on, a lot of trauma that people are being exposed to.
That's huge to say we're dealing with a racial pandemic. I mean, a lot of people aren't willing to say those words. And a lot of people are woke today and they're going back to bed in a minute. It's a lot of people can't wait to be, they out here marching and protesting, people of all races. I see them out here, and I'm excited to see such a diverse group of people out here protesting. But I already know some of these people are like, oh, I did my job. Time to go back to bed. I'm not about to change the way I act. I'm not about to change the people who I let my children date. It's a lot of people going to go back to sleep. Yep. So in this moment, and it is truly traumatic, I would like to hear, what is some advice you can give to parents? Because I'm a parent. My kids are watching this. It's all over TikTok. It's all over everything. Like my 10-year-old daughter is asking questions she's never asked before. We're having conversations we never had before. While many of them are very fruitful and wonderful that we can talk about it, it's also a little bit scary. It's like, why do you even have to think about that? My 16-year-old son, tall, strong guy, he's learning to drive, and I'm like, I'm not scared about the accident. I'm scared about the incident that you may have with an officer, and that's sad. What would you tell a parent about how they can maybe manage the exposure or have conversations? What do we do for our children?
Yeah, I think the main thing is to be open and have those conversations, because I know how easy it can be to avoid, because it's uncomfortable. And so when we're uncomfortable, we avoid things. But it's really important to broach those conversations and for them to be learning from you. And I would say just letting them know that you're there for them, actually asking them how this is landing with them. What are some of their fears? Like, what are they thinking about at night? Is something keeping them up at night? And really being able to give them factual information, because I think a lot of the things that people are exposed to in the media can be sensationalized and cause a lot of unnecessary anxiety. So making sure that where we're getting our news and our media from is reputable, right? The information, making sure that that's reputable, and then just that emotional support. I think a huge piece that I advocate for is making space for people's emotions, even if you don't understand their emotions, or even if you think their emotions are somehow off base. We need to give each other permission, particularly in the Black community, where a lot of us grew up in homes where it wasn't safe to say how you were feeling. Yes. You were supposed to stay in a child's place. And even if you were an adult, it wasn't safe to express any kind of emotions because you were doing too much and people tried to mute you. And so being able to just make space for your children or for whoever is in your household for them to have an emotional experience and to not invalidate that experience, but to let them know that it's okay that they feel that way. And it's valid that they feel that way, given that we have all of these things going on in our society, and really just supporting one another. That is the best thing that we can do right now, is come together and support each other, love on each other, because now more than ever we're seeing that tomorrow is not promised to any of us.
Yes.
And I think the younger you are, sometimes you feel invincible, you feel like you have all these years ahead of you, but that's just not the case. And so how do you make the most of the time that you have with the people that you have right now that you're sheltering in place with? Like, how do you enrich those relationships and really kind of get to a deeper level of connection? Because some parents don't even know their kids, like, for real. Like, they don't know what they like. They don't know, what gets them ticking. They don't know what they're passionate about. And so this is really an opportunity to really kind of get to know them at that deeper level, so that you can be supportive for them and provide the structure and the environment that is really going to help them flourish as a growing person.
Phenomenal. That we're going to steal that soundbite out and post that. That was so well said, and such rich information in a time where we're all just trying to figure it out. As a parent, as a person, as a black man, it is extremely traumatic. It's scary. It's sad when you see the number of names and faces, black men and women, who are being killed by the police or have been killed by the police in the last 10 years. Say, incredible. Sandra Bland was 2015. That was 5 years ago. That, it seems like yesterday, right? Yep. And all the things that have gone on in our nation, it is traumatic. Now, can you talk to us a little bit about childhood trauma? It's something that I care deeply about. I worked with kids for many years and still do. There are many of our viewers and others and some of our guests have gone through, adverse childhood experiences, right? Adverse childhood events. Help us understand what happens when we go through something as a child. Because some of us don't know some of our issues now in our relationships, in our marriages, in our friendships, at our jobs, everywhere we are, is because there's something that happened way back when that we really haven't properly dealt with. Can you help us understand that?
Yes. And unfortunately, so many people have had their own personal experiences with this. Is far too common in our community. But one thing that I'll say about it is it's not the stranger danger that we need to be talking about. Unfortunately, the majority of people who experience childhood abuse, whether it's sexual, physical, emotional neglect, is at the hands of someone who they know. Wow. Maybe a parent, a family member, a trusted friend of the family. And so that exacerbates the impact, because you think about it, you are vulnerable. No child can take care of themselves. They have to depend on adults for food, clothing, and shelter, just their basic needs. But then the very person that you have to depend on to get those needs met is maybe the one that's violating you. Wow. And so you think about that, how do you reconcile that as a child who knows that you have to depend on this person, but then you also have to still be good and acceptable in your behavior enough to keep them meeting your needs, especially if it's a parent that's harming you. And so how can a child make sense of that? And so a lot of times what happens is we learn how to bear with it, right? And so that's why we see so many people who are adults and they learn how to deal with so many maximum amounts of stress, and they just keep on going and they feel like they're just coping, but really we've just been stuffing these things. We're stuffing it. We're not allowing ourselves to really come to grips with what we've experienced. And a lot of times for children, all you know how to do is survive. All you know how to do is survive. And so a lot of times a survival mechanism is actually staying attached to that person. Wow. And it's so they can continue to fulfill those needs that you have. And a lot of times, it's very tricky too, because the things that perpetrators will say to children, to get them to stay quiet, like they make threats, right? They make threats on the people that they love. They make threats on the child's life themselves, and so it's really hard for them to navigate. Like, who can I tell? Who can I trust with this? And a lot of times in a child's mind, they don't know that it's not their fault, and so then they take on the guilt on top of all of the other abuse that they're experiencing. There's this kind of seed that's planted that somehow this is my fault, somehow I made this happen. And then they have to walk around with this secret that they feel like they can't tell anyone. And so that's very heavy and that's very painful. And so I would just say, even for people who are watching this, I recognize that even me talking about this can be triggering. So of course, I always encourage people to reach out to mental health support services, so that you can really process this. Because a lot of people too, they'll, go through childhood, they'll go through adolescence, and then they'll grow up and become adults and maybe have their own children or start to have romantic relationships, and then some of these things start coming back to them and they're re-triggered by it, and they're having trouble connecting in their relationships, or trouble with their children. And so it's very important for us to process this so that it's not kind of like playing in the background and impacting the way that we act in our relationships as adults, because it's something that can do that. It can really have a huge impact on the way that we look at ourselves, our sense of worthiness. You talk about people wanting to, start businesses, maybe somebody wanting to go back to school after they've been out for a long time. And the narrative in a lot of people's mind is, I'm not worth this.
Right.
And so that can stem from childhood abuse. And so that's why it's so important to process, like, how is it impacting you to this day? And there's no shame in processing your trauma with a licensed professional, because, the trauma happened in the context of a relationship, and a lot of your ideals for what a trusting relationship was supposed to be, that was all shattered.
Yes.
And so you didn't even really get an opportunity to have a good template of what a healthy relationship is. And not to mention regulating your own emotions and knowing what to do, how to label your emotions and how to cope with your emotions. How can you know to do something that you didn't even get a chance to develop the capacity for? Wow. The trauma ripped all of that away from you. And so it's no shame in developing those skills and developing that capacity and really processing it, so that the trauma is not in the driver's seat of your life, just sitting there kind of dictating your actions, dictating how you feel about yourself, dictating your outlook on the world. You want that to be a part of your story. It'll always be a part of your story, but it doesn't have to be in the driver's seat, which is why I always advocate for people really processing it and really getting some support with a licensed professional who can hold this in confidence with you to help you kind of recover.
Robin, this is just amazing information. And I think so many of us, somehow in the back of our mind, know what you're saying is true. And so many people in the comments are saying, what you're saying is even triggering things in them, not that it's negative, but that it's reminding them, it's touching a place in them that may be sensitive, but needs to be talked about. And would you mind helping us talk about, especially right now, and ladies and gentlemen, we're coming up on the top of the hour here, so we're going to go a little bit longer, so please stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have the founder, creator of the She Wins Society, Miss Andromeda Raheem, on in just a few minutes, so please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, and if you're watching this by replay, please stay right there. Stop fast forwarding. What are you doing? Why? Stop. No, watch. Okay, good. All right, our replay viewers are set. All right, so as we think about this, you keep saying there's no shame. The problem is, so many people, you're saying it, I don't know you mean it in all the best ways, right? There really, in essence, there is no shame in getting some help. But unfortunately, culturally, especially in the Black community, there is tremendous shame. So much so, until even when people know things are true, they don't want to tell anybody about it. They're like, just be quiet. Just, we're going to just pray about it or whatever it is. And I'm a praying man. But there's some stuff that needs more than just prayer. And that's biblical. It's not even wrong for us to know we need more than just prayer. Help us understand, how can we break this stigma if Black lives matter, so do these Black children who have grown up to be Black men and women who have been abused. If they matter, then these issues matter. So what can we do to help change the stigma and the shame in our communities?
Yeah, I think one very practical thing that we can do is start to share our experiences with each other. Like, stop holding ourselves to these high expectations where we have to put on this hard face. Like, I think about the poem of We Wear the Mask, like in our community. And I think we've had to do that. That was a survival mechanism for so long for us that we were not, given the things that we needed, and we were not allowed to kind of be authentically ourselves. And in some ways, in some circumstances, that's we're not allowed that today, but we have more freedoms. And so I would say just be open with each other and start talking. Like, let it be a normative thing when you, just like you would say, I had a doctor's appointment on Tuesday that I went to. I had a therapist appointment on Tuesday that I went to. You don't have to tell everybody your business. As Brene Brown says, everybody has not earned the right to hear your business and what you've been through. So you don't have to go in the details, but just normalizing that you're not perfect. A lot of us try to put on this front that we have it all together and we're perfect. And the thing that does is that further isolates other people who may be struggling or having challenges, because they feel like, well, if she has it all together, then I definitely wouldn't talk to her about what I have going on because she's going to look down on me. But when you take the risk to open up to someone and say, like, yeah, the other day I cried, like I was having a tough time. Today I'm feeling differently. That opens the door to show people, like, okay, it's okay to not have it all together. It's okay to not be okay. And so I think a part of reducing that stigma is just normalizing this conversation around mental health and us changing our mindsets too, because I think we have created some type of hierarchy when we think about health, and we think about our physical health is primary and somehow our mental health is secondary. But a lot of what we do, how we feel, how we think, it all flows from the brain.
Absolutely.
And so there is no health without mental health. And so we really need to be thinking about that and really need to be prioritizing our brain and our mind and making sure that we're functioning to the top of our ability. Because if you are not taking care of your mental health, you cannot show up in the way that you want to for your family. You cannot show up in the way that you want to for your job, for any passion projects that you're working on, any businesses that you own. You will be giving a very false version of yourself and a very tapped out version of yourself. And I like to liken it to, if somebody was coming over to your house for Thanksgiving, would you feed them 2-week-old spaghetti that you had like frozen in the freezer? No, you would make them a fresh meal for them to enjoy. And so don't you want to be giving the people who you engage with a fresh version of yourself, right? And that's where self-care and that's where mental health comes in. When we pour into ourselves, then we can show up for our people that we love as the best version of ourselves, and they can get the best version of us. But if we don't take care of ourselves, we fool ourselves into thinking that we can function right without taking care of our health. We try to operate off of 2-3 hours of sleep and show up all caffeinated, and we're fooling ourselves, but we are not showing up as the best version of ourselves. And so that's really why we have to engage in self-care. And a huge piece of self-care is your mental health. And that's what I talk about in my book, The Self-Care Prescription. It's really all about how to take better care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit. There's 6 different facets of self-care that I talk about in the book, but definitely mental health is one of those ways that we can take better care of ourselves. So I would say start having the conversation, start being vulnerable. Don't be afraid to not be perfect, to show people that you're not perfect, because we're all human. And perfection is just like an unrealistic standard that we set for ourselves. And it really does separate us from other people. And I think when we're vulnerable, that's when we can have deep, rich connections with the people that we love. And we can feel accepted too by other people, because they will actually get to know the real us, because we're not feeling like we have to go out and put on a facade in order for people to love us or like us.
What you said is just, I mean, it was literally like, there's no health without mental health. There's no health without mental health. Why can't you commit to physical health? Because of your mental health. Why can't you commit to your spiritual health? Because of your mental health. Why can't you improve your emotional health? Because of your mental health. Because as a man thinketh. Like it's because our thoughts are so powerful that they can control everything down to the food we eat, the way we interact, our moods, our feelings. And this is something that I've been really big on recently. I've been thinking, I am a person, I don't cuss, right? And I've been thinking about curse words. And I've never been offended by people cussing. But I was just raised in a house where nobody did. And so I grew up kind of like you don't. But the more I think about it, the more I realize there's a lot worse stuff we say to ourselves than a few 4-letter words that come out of people's mouth that don't mean a whole lot. But we curse ourselves all the time by saying, I'm not good enough. Well, I understand. Well, it's no wonder why. I mean, he cheated on me because everybody cheats on me. Apparently, there's something wrong with me. And even saying things in sarcasm or saying things to our friends or whatever or saying things to ourselves in our own head that we may never say out of our mouth is powerful. And there's power. The Bible says life and death is in the power of the tongue. Like it is powerful what we say to ourselves every single day. And therefore, what I say to my wife, what I say to my children, what my wife says to me, what we say to our community, what we say to black men in America, what we say to black women in America. All our words have power. And we have to take it back, and we have to take control, and we have to fight, because there's no health without mental health. Robin, can you tell us how we can get your book? I know. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know your bookshelves are filling up. I get it. I get it that you can't read 10 books at once, but you got to get them while you're thinking about it, because you don't know when you're going to need it. Or buy 2 copies, because you never know when you're going to need to give it to someone. You're going to come across someone who's going to need exactly what's in that book, and you're going to have an extra copy. And because your heart was set to sow into someone else, you're going to be blessed. Robin, how can they get your book?
Yes, it's available on Amazon. It's available in Barnes & Noble stores if they are open back up now, or when they open back up. Available on Walmart.com, Target.com. Wherever you get your books, you can get a copy of the Self-Care Prescription. It's all about helping you take better care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit. The
Self-Care Prescription. That's the name of the book. The Self-Care Prescription. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give some applause to our guest today. Give some virtual hands, some claps, some love. Hit those hearts. Show some love. Robin, again, I don't know what's going on with the She Wins Society, but the quality, the level of everything that you guys bring is just phenomenal. I can't even wrap my mind around it. Andromeda is like, I got this person. I'm like, we got to do 2 a night just to fit people in. And I have committed to Andromeda because of wonderful people like you, Robin, that we are going to do more on Lucas Live to support the She Wins Society. We're going to have you back. I'd love to have you back and have this conversation even deeper on trauma and everything going on.
And can I say one more thing, just for the women that are watching, that they were maybe triggered by something that we talked about, particularly with child abuse, because I'm sensitive to that. I know how common it is. I would encourage you, if you're looking for a therapist, to go to therapyforblackgirls.com. They have a directory of Black women therapists who can support you, who have backgrounds that really can help you process this trauma. And for a lot of people, sometimes they think money is a issue. Look into your health, your insurance coverage. A lot of times insurance will cover it. If you don't have healthcare insurance, also think about the fact that a lot of therapists are aware of the financial limitations, and they have sliding scale fees. So you do not have to deal with this on your own. We were not made to bear all of these burdens on our own. So definitely, I encourage you to reach out. I'm on social media at drrobingobin.com. That's my website, but also just on social media at Dr. Robin Gobin on Facebook, on Instagram. And so I'm always willing to be a sounding board if you want to continue the conversation, and I can definitely point you in the direction of where you need to go as far as processing that trauma and starting your recovery journey.
Thank you so much. Phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, get the book, check it out, get 2 copies, get one for your friends, your daughters, your whoever you got to get it for, men and women. Let's support this work. And at this time, I want to bring back on our guest from earlier, Linda. I'd love the two of you in just 2 minutes because we got to hear from the founder. You know, I feel like it's like a church anniversary. It's like we got to bring the pastor up. We got to bring him. It's time. I know y'all been sitting here for 6 hours and you've been sweating and you've been wanting to eat that chicken that's been over there in the kitchen. But first, I'd like to bring back Linda. Welcome back, Linda. Welcome back to the show. I would like to hear from both of you guys. Just quickly, both maybe 1 minute apiece. And Linda, we'll start with you. Just speak to the impact of the She Wins Society on your life. We just don't want people to forget because that's what this week is about. And you guys are here for our grand finale night, but it's not the end because we're going to do more with She Wins. But Linda, if you could just tell us one more time in just a minute or less, what has the She Wins Society meant to you?
It's a true sisterhood. You know, a lot of times we so quick to put sister supporting sisters as a hashtag. And for someone that has been in the women business for so long, I'm very particular about organizations that I associate myself with. And a friend of mine sent She Wins Society to me on Instagram and said, you need to check her out. First, I checked her out, and the first credibility was we both have the same publisher, Adriori. And I'm saying, okay, you know, that was my first, you know, because there's so many organizations out there, and it's good to check legitimacy, but being credible is not enough. Because for me, connection is about somebody's authenticity. You know, I had never met Andromeda. And our conference last year, as I said, being in the military, we're constantly moving. And I wanted a portion of the conference to talk about really building a good tribe and sisterhood. And nobody could come to my mind other than her. She was the perfect person to come and deliver that message. Because I had never met this woman. But just from the virtual connection, she'd shown me so much support. And I could feel her authenticity over the internet. Like, wow. That is deep. Wow. To be able to not have met somebody, but you can feel their authenticity.
Yes.
You know, statistics shows that 90% of women don't have 5 women they can call in time of need. I say every time that I talk about She Wins Society. But it's so important that we change the narrative. Because there's so many women out there, so many organizations. Why are you not connected? And yes. You gotta be the woman that you want to be connected to.
Yes.
Because a lot of women are out there not being supportive, yet they're looking for a supportive network. Like it's not a hand-me-down. You gotta add value, you gotta bring value. So be the woman that you want to be connected with.
I love it.
And I saw that in She Wins Society.
She
goes and beyond to make sure that anybody that wants to be connected gets connected.
Amazing.
You gotta have the desire. You know, I tell you all, I'm no GPS for no reason. You gotta be willing and able to drive for somebody to take you there.
Love
and
it.
She's willing to take you there if you're able and if you're willing. If you're not able, you know, there are resources out there to help you within the network. And you know, I tell you, I'm stretched thin. That's my big thing, like where, you know, managing tasks on my calendar. And, you know, it's definitely something that when I have time outside, if I'm looking for any other organization to be a part of, She Wins is an organization that I am so thankful that I'm a part of. And just to say one thing about the kind of woman that Andromeda is, as I said, never met her before. I sent her an Instagram message. I said, I have 3 keynote spots for my conference in March. I would like you to be one of the keynote speakers. Never met me. She responded with, well, I just said she was a keynote speaker, so you can guess what the response was. She responded, I accepted. She didn't only accept, but she went beyond that and started sharing the event in the newsletter. And she does that, not just my event.
Yes.
When women have events going on or things going on,
yes,
it goes in the newsletter, it goes on the Facebook page and stuff like that. Even when we started marketing the next event, I said, you know what, sis, can you share your section and, you know, stuff you did last year and stuff like she still shared it in there.
Wow.
So she goes above and beyond to support the women that are, are willing to be a part of the network.
That is
Because
phenomenal.
is not enough. You also have to be willing.
I can't, Linda.
And it's not.
Linda, Andromeda is so amazing that I need like Grammy music. I got to cut people off because I can't. I mean, it's not even the person getting the award. It's people talking about Andromeda, and every day people just can't stop. And ladies, you guys are gonna have to write our letters and just put it together in a book and send her some love because clearly, Linda, thank you so much. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I know we are short on time.
Yes.
A lot of women that don't share what you've seen all these women over the week share. I'm saying you have to, don't just register and be involved.
Yes, thank you. Great point.
Once you feel the impact, you have to be involved.
I love that. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much for saying that. I've been saying everybody join, but I've been acting like you're just going to join and see the posts and be good. Yes, it'll help you, but if you don't get involved and get active, see how you can help, see how you can participate, start putting your coins to the side. You may not be able to go on the vacation you were going to go on this summer with your family. Stack those coins because as soon as She Wins kicks back off some of their travel to get together with these women and go on a cruise or go to a Airbnb somewhere and sit together and with sisters, and then they go out and, do a day out on the town and go shopping and do some stuff together. These are sisters who love each other, who treat each other like the queens that they are. So shout out to the She Wins Society. And Robin, if you could just quickly tell us, before we bring Andromeda on, how has the She Wins Society impacted your life?
I'll just keep it very brief and say a safe space to land. A lot of places that you go into, you're not sure if you're going to be welcomed, especially all women, kind of with same interests, similar age. You just never know if you're going to be fully accepted and if you can show up as your full self. And what I found in being around Andromeda, I went to a retreat last October, and it was just amazing that there were so many different women from all walks of life, but we all came together, and it really felt like we were a family. It felt like a sisterhood immediately because we all felt safe enough to show up as ourselves. So if you're looking for a space where you can be authentically yourself and show up and be embraced and be loved and be supported, you want to be a part of She Wins Society.
Awesome. Thank you so much to both of you for being our guests today. You guys were just great. The information, the show is about education, motivation, liberation. Everybody who's been watching, we educate people. We motivate them to take the education and do something with it. Motivated to make a change. You're trying to get your physical health together. You got to get your mental health together first. Okay. You need to find yourself. You need some GPS. You need some help from Linda. Whatever it is that you need, get their books, check their websites, follow them. Education, motivation, and liberation is to set you free to be the best you can be. So thank you all so much. And without further ado, ladies, thank you guys for being on the show. I would like to bring on our special honored guest today, Miss Andromeda Raheem. Welcome. And thank you so much for everything you've done and for providing these wonderful women who got to become a part of my platform. I am blessed. I am honored. I got about 2 hours worth of stuff to say about how wonderful you are as well, but I'll wait. But thank you so much, Andromeda, for everything you've done.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. My heart is extremely full. And the only reason why I wanted to come back is to just express my extreme gratitude for all of my sisters who have shared this last week. It's been amazing. I know my sisters are amazing, but it's just been amazing. I've even learned some new things about them that I didn't know through this broadcast. Everybody has shined. This is just really proof that we can truly all win and shine together. Like all of us shine individually. We have our own shine, but we shine so much brighter together. I have to just say, Linda and Robin, you guys did so amazing. I missed out kind of like being in the comments because I'm here behind the scenes, but I'm usually like in the comments, but I've been over here like clapping and yesing, and you all are awesome. Thank you so much to Shamar and Natalie and Shonda and Rhonda and Megan for coming on before you guys. Thank you so much, Lucas. I mean, this is amazing what you're doing. When the idea came to me, when you pitched the idea to me, of course I agreed, because I think that what you're doing was awesome before now. And of course, I always like to provide opportunities for my sisters and of course myself. But you have went above and beyond what I expected this to be. I mean, you were so thoughtful in your shout outs, even in your backgrounds. Like, who told you to do all of that? You know, like, it's just been so awesome. And we don't have experiences like that all the time. You know, all of us, I think we've done virtual events and had virtual experiences, and all the women have expressed how amazing this was and how great your energy was. And you have just been a very gracious host. Like, we truly, truly appreciate you for what you have done for us this week. And then again, I think for me, I've never been interviewed by a male ever.
Wow.
Ever in the last 6 years that I have been doing this.
Interesting.
So to have a male shouting out "She Wins Society" like a DJ on the mic in the club.
She wins for life.
It's been amazing. I thanked Corine in private, but I would like to also thank her in public for sharing her amazing husband with us. You know, we can talk all day about, you know, how people are selfish with their gifts. People are selfish with the amazing things they have in their life. People are too insecure to put their husband in spaces with other women.
Right.
But you know, it just you guys are my favorite couple. I always say all the time, like power couple, powered by God. I use that hashtag. You guys. But it just solidifies how strong your relationship is, how beautiful your relationship is, how beautiful both of you are together. And so I thank Corine so much for, you know, expressing her value in She Wins Society to you and y'all pillow talks, obviously,
right?
And y'all working together to bring this about. I really, truly appreciate it. And that's really all that I wanted to share, was just say thank you.
Andromeda, thank you so much. And it's hard sometimes, and this is tough because sometimes it's hard for us to take the appreciation, you know, and accept the love, but we all need it, right? This world is so full of so much hate, and it's so cold, and we see it right now constantly. We can't turn on the news, we can't turn on social media without it, and then we have to add our voice to push for change, right? So we have to, you know, we're in it too, because we can't just stand by silently and act like these things aren't wrong. But to pause, and I'm so grateful this week, and you and I have talked about it. When you build a platform, they want to tell you how to use your platform. When you find your voice, now they want to use your voice like they're the puppeteer, and now everybody calls me and says, you need to talk about this and you need to talk about that. And I said to people, have you seen my show? Like, have you seen my show? Like, we celebrate people of all races. This is not just to celebrate black people and black business, but those you all are my people, and I'm going to celebrate you, and I'm going to be unapologetic about it. And women, I am so excited. I said, have you watched what we're doing for black women this week? Like, the celebration and the love has been amazing. It's been amazing to me. And I tease you and I joke about your twin and your triplets and I don't know how you do it. I mean, it is crazy to me. Like, to hear it would be different. It's one thing when you hear about it like a pastor of a church who sees all these people every week. There's people like, I've never even seen this woman. I've never met her, or I met her for the first time when she came to speak at my event, or I met her at the first time on a cruise that I trusted her enough to invest my time and money to go on and see what happened. It speaks to the greatness that God has put inside of you and the fact that you are fully exercising your gifts. And I just can't wait to see what comes of this. I believe the She Wins Society is going to be one of the biggest organizations for female sisterhood in the world. And I'm so glad that I'm going to be able to say, check my archives. I had them on, and I was a part of what they had going on, because you guys are just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And I hope this week that people became members and joined, and I hope that more people will. And I'm here for you. I'm here to shout out She Wins. You have events, you have stuff going on. You let me know, I'll shout it out. And we're going to have some more of your sisters on. Is that, can we agreed to that? I just want to get this on camera. We're going to bring some more on, right? We can make that happen.
Absolutely. This is what She Wins Society is here for. It's here to provide opportunities for women to grow, to share their voices. We all have different purposes. We all have different expertise. We all have a light that is meant to shine. So absolutely. I also want to say too, this is something for us to really recognize. I was having this conversation with my husband about how this is such a full circle moment for me. You know, when I met Corine, I hadn't met you yet, right? You didn't have a show.
Right.
I've known Corine for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. Nobody knew there was going to be a Lucas Live, you know, when I met Corine. Nobody knew that was going to happen.
Right.
But this is just, it just goes to show you how you can connect with people and wherever they are in life, because tables are always turning. People are always shifting. People are always leveling up.
Yes.
So my attitude about people is I never look down on people, because where they are today may not be where they are tomorrow. Amen. And where I am today may not be where I am tomorrow.
Yes.
And so it's important that we connect with people and recognize their gifts, their talents, and just continue to grow with them, because you never know when that person is going to be in a position where they can pull you up and lift you up and encourage you. Like, this is so on time for me. I struggle too with the acceptance of the love, but really I'm just listening. I'm listening to what my sisters are saying, because it's confirmation of my purpose. This is all I've ever wanted to do, was to make women feel this way. And so to hear them say it is just like extra fuel to, like, I want to touch more women this way. I want more women to feel like this. And I want to provide more opportunities for women to feel, fulfilled in their lives. Ultimately, what fulfills us is when we are doing what we feel like we were called to do. Like Linda said, it's not about the money. The money is going to come when you are passionate about what you're doing, and when you are walking in your purpose. It's absolutely going to come. What fulfills us is not the dollar signs in our bank.
Woo!
Some comfortability there. That's like, okay, I got the money, I don't have to worry about that. But what fulfills us is the fact that we are operating in our purpose, that we are doing something that makes other people feel good, that we are making an impact in the world. When I know for a fact now today that when I leave here, whenever God calls me home, is that I have impacted people, and that is good enough for me.
Andromeda, thank you for those words. Ladies of the She Wins Society, you have heard from your leader tonight, and I hope you're inspired. I hope you know her heart for you. I hope you know that everything she did came from the bottom of her heart. It was genuine. It was pure. It was true. She's walking in her gift. These moments were meant to be, and we all were brought together. Thank you so much for the love you've shown me, and the support and the calls and the text messages in between time as we coordinated and worked things out. It was just so great for me. It was a great experience, and I'm encouraged myself to keep going. I am 2 months in. I think, maybe literally, I'm right about at 2 months into starting this show, and to think how far it's come already. And I know what God can do. I don't know where it's going to go, but I don't doubt for a second that it's going to go further and further and higher. And I look forward to us all climbing and rising together and continuing to support each other as we continue to climb. So Andromeda, thank you again so much. So glad we got to spend all this time together.
Thank you for being amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. You too. Everybody, you guys are always amazing. To our audience, we thank you. We love you. To our live audience, to our replay viewers, whoever you are out there, we love you. You matter. Thank you. Keep sharing this. Keep talking about it. Talk about these conversations. Show this to your children. Show this to your daughters. Show this to those who say sisterhood is not a thing. Show this to people who say black women don't get along, or women in general. And it's not just about black women, but women overall can't get along. They can't have a sense of sisterhood. That's a lie. And we know it, and it's been proven through the She Wins Society. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, if you haven't joined, please join today. Today is the day. Don't wait another minute. Thank you guys so much. We're so excited to have had you. Everybody have a great night.